Hey, hi everybody. This is a live with a guest. I'm waiting for him to connect. And, we'll talk about an interesting topic, an interesting subject, because we are going to talk about incense fragrances that can be used. Even just a second, I will add. We will be talking about incense fragrances that are versatile, that can be used all year round, almost, since incense is traditionally associated with the colder seasons, because it's usually used in fragrances that are really heavy, dense. But that's not always the case. And here we have Simone. Hi, Simone.
Good evening.
Everything okay?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see me clearly?
Perfectly. Okay. Since Simone is pretty expert on this kind of fragrances, I will ask you to introduce the subject, maybe with a short introduction about what incense is in reality and in fragrances, because this is confusing. Many people don't really know what incense is.
Yeah. So just let me grab 1 second something, because this was not scheduled, but I'm gonna pick some raw materials as well.
Well, I just jump on the occasion to say what, in my opinion, incense is. Incense is not the raw material. Olibanum, myrrh, opoponax, copal are not incenses. Those are raw materials. The incense is the smoke obtained by burning those materials.
Yeah, exactly. So, by the way, I was just fumigating some incense as well up there, just to prepare myself for the live. So basically, what is incense? It's just what you said. So burning whatever kind of resin, which could be, yes, myrrh, both normal and sweet myrrh, so opoponax, could be olibanum in all its kind of subgenre, which is boswellia, could be boswellia sacra, could be boswellia serrata. There are many type of olibanum or frankincense, and stuff like that. There's also what you call it. There's also copal. There's also copaiba as well. I believe I don't remember if it's a balm or a resin that could be burned. But anyway, yeah, these are raw material, and this material, of course, this resin, of course, can be burned, and they produce smoke, And this type of material has been used since
it's
humanity was born.
actually the first kind of fragrance, because the word perfume comes from the Latin perfumum, which means through the smoke.
And you can find like signs of this in, I believe, not every single religion sacred books, but in the Holy Bible, in the Quran, and this and that. So talking about fragrances, like I told you on Instagram today, there's this like very small line that separates what's smoky and what's incense in a fragrance. And people tend to confuse these two words, you know, because like I said, an incense perfume can be smoky, but smoky fragrances is not
No,
necessarily
of
an incense
course.
fragrance as well, you know.
You can have birch
Yeah,
tar, for example, that
and,
gives
and
there is smoky
yeah,
touch, but it's not incense at all.
yeah, yeah. All kind of vegetal tars. So birch, what's it
Uh,
called? Gaiac wood, or what's the other one? Cade.
or
All kind of vegetal tar. You know,
or
yeah, they are
or even
very smoky, very
even
very
wood
smoky.
when used in a
Yeah,
certain way, certain kind of woods can be very smoky.
yeah, yeah. Very smoky indeed. Very smoky indeed. I have a lot of them as well. Uh,
No,
but you know, they're not incense. It's not an incense fragrance. And, and these things always bug me. Uh, because you know you see like people referring as incense of stuff that has this kind of vegetal tar material that gives heavy smoke profile. Like for example, I saw baby cat, you know,
no,
which is a staple in a lot of so-called incense fragrances of
no,
Encens Suave by Mattia
no.
Premier, but those are smoky. They use a lot of guaiacol or guaiacol, which has this very sweet, very phenolic, so like sweet, medicinal, and smoky profile, but not instant in any way. So you know, we came up with this idea of doing a live together, of showing up some incense fragrances. I know you want to talk about Grimoire by Anatole Breton, which is a very good fragrance indeed. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is very good. I personally don't find it very wearable, not because it's difficult, but it's
Yeah,
hard for people to accept it.
yeah.
For people
Yeah,
around you and
I
me,
had
you know.
this idea because I thought, why not why not talk about fragrances using the note of incense that are perfectly wearable in all seasons, all year round. And I took the inspiration from a couple of videos.
Yeah.
One is yours, and one other from Francesca in Millimeter. She talked about another fragrance that it's on my wish list, but I still don't have it. But Copala
Which is
Azul by
okay. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, the Tamusha. Yeah.
and I took the inspirations by your video because another fragrance that is on my wish list is Boys 1920 Scuro. I want
Yeah.
to try that, and I put together some of my fragrances that are wearable in all year round that contain incense. Then by all year round
Yeah.
can be a tricky statement because I don't really believe a lot in seasonality of fragrances. I wear almost everything every time. I can wear Eau Sauvage around Christmas. I can wear Interlude in spring, but you know, let's say fragrances that are lighter, a little more wearable than the traditional heavy incense fragrances.
Yeah. Yeah, which is always the hard part, as I said, because I think that incense fragrances are hard to accept for
Yeah,
from an outsider, you know, because of the smoke. I think because that's the main reason, and also depending on your culture and on your country. For example, here in Italy, like incense is it's a big thing, you know, because there's a lot of Catholics or even people that are non-believer that used to go to the church when they were little, and they have this immediate relationship between church and incense material. So it's really hard, you know, to just have a walk or go to the office or whatever wearing an incense fragrances, because like people perceive it as a
Yeah.
just like a
Yeah, because
a
for
religious thing, you
example,
know.
for us in old Europe, what we traditionally associate with incense is Lebanon, frankincense. While, for example, in
Yeah,
India
maybe.
might be Nagachampa. It's a different material.
Yeah,
In the Central America, it's copal. So that it's a lot of different things.
yeah,
Or myrrh in the Middle East. So
yeah,
let's start with the fragrances. You can go first with your first pick.
yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna pick the one that you mentioned before, which is scuro. That means like dark. Let's say dark in English, by Boys 1920. And I just smell this fragrance at the in Exans, like at the end of March, you know. And just looking at the scent notes, I was like, I have to try this because I think this is right up my alley. Because as I said in the video, I'm a sucker for LME. I love LME resin. I love LME in a lot of fragrances. Also non-incense oriented, like for example, I'm watching at the
That's
Vetiver
true.
Insolant by Miller Harris. That 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 like that resinous, piney, almost citrusy blast in the opening
Mhm.
with a touch of smoke as well.
Also, Vashpa
That's what anime is all about, and it gives also a lot of expansion and
also
acceleration
Vash
to top notes.
is
So
a great LME
yeah,
fragrance.
yeah, yeah,
Especially
yeah.
the
I know that. Also
newest,
has
because
myrrh.
there have been two formulations. The first had myrrh, the second has elemi. I like the second better, the current formulation better. It's more akin to the original, to the legacy of the original, more in that line. The myrrh one was a little too far from the original, I
Yeah, it
think.
was different. It was still good, still good. Yeah, I smell that. No, I used to
Ciao
own that.
Luisella.
But yeah, that's good. You know what? So this fragrance right here is it's just say an overdose of element plus your average incense. So you know there's olibanum, there's cedarwood, which plays a huge role in a lot of incense fragrance, both cedarwood and ivory. Uh, the thing that is good about this one is it does not have a lot of aldehydes, because usually a lot of incense fragrances have aldehydes to give that pop, that spark in the opening, to clean up the incense, to make it smell a little bit more smoky metallic. And this is lacking right here. So by using a lot of element and citruses, they did like the most versatile and still huge on incense fragrance for me. For me, this is like
Yeah,
to this day unbeatable. If you're talking about like freshy incense fragrance, I think
yeah.
it's the best by far
This is one of
compared to any other.
my wish list. I have to try.
Yeah, and it's also very woody and very resinous as well. It's not so smoky after the opening. It's not that smoky, but it's
Mhm.
man, this is good.
Yes, my first pick will be on the designer side, with one of the very few designers created after the year 2000 in this millennium that I think they are worth the money. Acqua di Gio Profumo is to me the best flanker in this line after the original, which I still think the original is one of the best summer hot weather fragrances, but this maintains the original DNA, that freshness, that kind of marine notes, but adding incense and patchouli. They made it a little darker, extremely more versatile. You can use it year-round. This is a perfect signature scent.
Yes.
And this and Hermes, I think, are the best designer fragrances in this millennium. I think this is you can wear it in summer, on a summer evening. It's very elegant too, and it's fresh. You smell good. You smell good.
Yeah. Like there's people saying that I have like connection issues, and I know that for sure because I'm with the Wi-Fi, but the mobile
No, probably
for some reason doesn't work. So if you want, I can just turn off the Wi-Fi and see how it goes with the mobile line. But I think it's going to be worse because there's many people saying that the live is not good
Oh yeah,
because they
probably
see
you're
me
lagging. I don't
freezing.
see that. I haven't noticed.
No. Me neither. But because we're live talking to each other. But there's 2, 3 people reporting that they see me freezing. So I'm just gonna go offline for a second. Just can you just continuing the live on your own so it doesn't go offline?
Yeah.
You can if I'm leaving. Okay.
Okay. While Simone is trying to check his connection, I will talk a little more about Acqua di Gio Profumo. You know, it's one of those fragrances that you smell, you test in a store, and you think, ooh, I already know this, because it has a scent profile, DNA that even if you never smelled it, you know it, because not because it's copying something else, but because it's a timeless fragrance, timeless scent profile. It's something that smells like a man, like a traditional man, and it's something that will be never be out of fashion. Let's check a little of the comments. Hi, Danim. Hi, bots. Gisela. A lot of people. Yes, being... Oh, Joy. Hi, Joy. Hi, Marco. Yeah, a lot of people seem to... Hi, Pep. A lot of people seem to notice Simone's problem with the connection. But being lived together with him, I haven't noticed that. Okay, he is probably back. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Simone. Okay, you're here. I can hear you.
Yeah. So now I'm with the mobile line itself, but I see you lagging. It's
okay, let us know if you can hear and see Simone perfectly now. And your second pick now.
No. I keep freezing with the mobile line.
Yes. Now I see you freezing. It's worse. Okay. So while we wait for Simone to rejoin with the Wi-Fi, okay, I will pick. I will start talking about my second pick. Unfortunately, I don't have the actual bottle. It should have been here today, but here Simone is back. Let's wait a second. Okay.
I'm back with the Wi-Fi because the mobile phone, like, it's been 3 days for whatever reason that in my house the mobile phone, the normal line doesn't work that well.
Probably the weather we're
Maybe they're
suffering
trying
here.
to fixing something.
Yeah, it's probably the weather conditions we're experiencing these days.
I don't know, because I'm living in the countryside, like deep countryside. Like right now, I can see you clearly. There's no freezing.
I see you clearly too. I can hear you. So, time for your second pick.
Yeah. So, my second choice, I've talked about this in my spring list. Yes. Yeah. Oh, because like the light, I move it on the other side. So this is Force by Toba, and it's a very clever usage of incense because, yes, Moondrop Toba, yeah. You know, how do they manage to accord the incense in this fragrance? There's a lot of cypress, and cypress can lean towards smoky, just like also some varieties of cedarwood. You know, it has that green, like astringent, woody, but also smoked touch to it. Plus, there's also incense materials, of course. And on the top, there's if I reckon correctly, there's how do you call them? Eucalyptus. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, there's eucalyptus, either eucalyptus or mint or menthol. So it just act just like the enemy or the citruses as a like a pop. It just makes the fragrance bloom and has a very expensive nature to it. And this to me, like, it's like my Zen fragrance, my Zen, my pure bliss, pure calm and enjoyment, just sitting on a couch smoking. But I don't smoke, by the way. But sitting on a couch smoking, reflecting on the day that just ended. You know, what have you done good? What have you done bad? What could be improved and what not? So this is like my 2 minutes of pure peace, and it is very, very good. It's not as loud, as potent as the Screw from Boys. But
yeah, I miss them. I miss them at Accents, and I regret it. But it was so chaotic. There were so many brands that I regret not smelling. Toba and Boys are two of them.
Yeah. I smelled this brand like at the 2022 Exans. Yeah. They launched the brand in EU. Then I saw them back at Pitti in Firenze last September.
If they come this year, and if I go to Florence, I will make sure I'll test them.
Yeah. They're like very, very artistic leaning fragrances, you know. Like there's only one which can be considered like a mass pleaser or like a very versatile scent. The rest of those are very, very artistic to my eyes and to my nose. Very niche. in a good way.
That's a good thing because I'm going more and more towards artistic, creative, unique fragrances because, of course, owning more than 300 bottles, I have plenty of mass appealing generic fragrances, and I really don't want to wear them that much these days.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know that feeling.
I like a very traditional fragrance, the classic ones, though they may be considered generic, but not by today's standard. I mean, I don't like the modern idea of mass appealing, those bubblegummy sweet or those shower gel like fragrances like Sauvage. I just go with an Axe body spray instead. I save mine for something more unique. So my second pick is actually pretty generic, but it's a traditional, more traditional brand. I don't have actually the bottle because it should have been here today, but the courier had different ideas. So it will arrive probably tomorrow. It's a Floris. This is 89, but don't consider 89. I'm talking about Floris Santal. Floris Santal is a green, fresh, aromatic, kind of traditionally blended masculine fragrance. But it has a light but pretty noticeable frankincense note in the dry down, mixed with the sandalwood. The sandalwood is not the sandalwood you find usually in Guerlain fragrances, which is very creamy. It's more of the Serge Lutens kind of dry sandalwood, which is the one I like the most. And this touch of olibanum in the dry down gives it a little sparkle, a little depth, in a fragrance that reminds me a lot of the old and long-moored Gucci Envy. It has the green opening, the sandalwood. It's quite in that ballpark. They don't smell exactly the same. But if you're a long-time fan of Gucci Envy, you can try Floris Santal. It can be a good replacement.
Oh, that's nice. And also Floris, it's also like a very solid house, like delivering classic. I smell mainly masculine, of course, so-called masculine releases.
Yeah.
And I've missed one because I'm going off topic a bit. I've seen that a couple of years ago, one of their newest release, which is called like, not Ombre Vert, what's the name? It has a green bottle, has won a Fifi award, and the nose, it's an Italian, it's like a junior perfumer. It's a pretty young Italian perfumer, which I believe is also from my region, which is his Instagram account is called like Yogi Perfumer, something like that. It's an Italian perfumer, yeah. And he released one of the last Floris in, I believe it was 2020, green bottle, and he also won a 50 award, and it was like named the second so-called best masculine fragrance of the year. But
I will check that out. I was by the way, pretty shocked to see Floris at Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, what they are doing here. I mean, they are one of the big names in niche perfumery. They have been around for more than a century. Usually, you see lesser known brands that need a little more promotion, buying a booth at Texas. It was kind of shocking to see Floris, but
yeah, because they are trying to go for the Middle Eastern market. You know, they like there's one of their latest releases which is huge, which is selling quite huge, from what I learned, which is honey oud.
oh, that's good. That's a good fragrance.
Yeah, it's a good one, and I believe that they went for the Exans just for that reason, to go for like the extra EU market. You know.
Yeah, also the leather oud one is not bad. So, do you have another pick?
Yeah, yeah. I have a third one, which is like a more classic leaning amber incense, and but I was just checking if I could spot something, because I have a lot of smoky fragrances, you know, but I don't want to bring a smoky fragrance. So like my third one is the
Rêve d'Océan.
yeah, from Oriza Legrand.
Hi, Melissa.
Man, this
is pretty traditional incense.
yeah, it's a straightforward incense fragrance. Yeah, of course, with a lot of amber. So there's a lot of resins, but you know, like you see, this is the thing. When someone that likes incense fragrances and tells me they don't know, like first of all, they don't know Oriza as a brand, which is, you know, pretty. I'm always shocked when someone says me they don't know Oriza.
Well, they have well-established brand.
Yeah, they've never smelled the Rêve d'Océan. You know, what the hell are you talking about? Like, how are you supposed to be like an incense lover if you never smell this fragrance? And also if you don't know the brand, which is even worse to my eyes.
Yeah, it's one of the best brands around, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that Florist is for the UK what Oriza is for the French.
Yes,
for France.
You can also, for the French, there are a lot. Well, in England, you have 2 or 3 Floris, Penhaligons, second pick, or
Geotramper.
Yeah, Geotramper. There are those kind of, but Geotramper is actually a barbershop chain. A barbershop chain. It started like a barbershop in London. Then they launched their line of fragrance, of shaving products. But there are some traditional. D.R. Harris is another. Yardley is another of those traditional. And in France, you have Guerlain, you have Coty, you have Molyneux, Fragonard, a lot of tradition. Molyneux and Molinard, but Molyneux is more.
Yeah, of course I know.
There's also a nice.
It's not nice, right. Like the brand. The brand doesn't produce anything.
No, but there's a nice anecdote about Molyneux, because they had their atelier in front of the Gabrielle Chanel atelier in Paris.
I used to know like an old Captain bottle, Captain Molyneux, which is really good with that sort of what's it called, like Le Male man torso bottle. That was crazy good.
And they were friends with Gabrielle Chanel, and as a joke, they decided to release both the brands decided to release on the same day their fragrance called Number 5. And actually, the Molyneux Number 5, which is now long discontinued, was selling better than Chanel Number 5 in the beginning. And then, of course, the rest is history. We
Yeah,
know how Chanel number 5 is
yeah,
now probably
it's
the
still
most
alive.
iconic fragrance in the world.
Yeah, still alive and still kicking.
Yeah. So, Orisa,
Yes,
and
yeah. So what's up with with this juice? You know, you just got everything. You know, you have your myrrh, you have your opoponax, you have your cedarwood as well here. You have, of course, frankincense, and you just like to me, I just spritz a bit, and also aldehydes on top. This one has aldehydes on top, so just that metallic, clean, sharp spark on the top to give the elevation and lift. Because the thing is, with a lot of resin materials, the fragrance would be just like based heavy, very flat, not projecting anything. Also in the opening, which is quite disappointing, you know. And
yeah.
to me, this smells of Catholic Church. Like this, to me, is the smell of a Catholic Church. This and Casbah from Piguet.
Oh, yeah. And I have another which I don't have here, and I will not recommend it as a very versatile fragrance, which is a very Gothic, the smell of a very Gothic church, which is Laurent Mazzone, Kingdom of Dreams.
Yeah,
That's very heavy. That's
yeah,
very Gothic. It reminds me of. I imagine it as being the smell of one of the French Gothic cathedrals, Notre Dame, Chartres. One of those. One of what you can smell inside one of those churches.
you know, but what I did with this with Rev d'Ocean, I just test drive the fragrance also at work. Which, by the way, just as a reference, I have like my own private office, all walled up. So if someone needs me or enter into my office, of course they are they immediately perceive the fragrance. And funny enough, I only received positive feedbacks about the Revolution.
Well,
The thing
it's
is
a
that I
great
don't like
fragrance.
wearing it myself in the daytime when I'm going to work.
It's actually a great fragrance.
Yeah.
It smells really, really good. It has that extremely noticeable church incense
Yeah.
vibe, but it is also very smooth. It's smoothed by the woods and by some. I also smell some kind of a green touch, green bitterness, maybe
Yeah.
galbanum.
Yeah. 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 It is green, but the thing is that also frankincense has like piney, sort of piney material. Yeah, piney material that leans 100% leans to green and also astringent
Yeah.
territory.
And pine resin, pine sap is also another material that can go smoky.
Yeah, yeah, like in what's it called in Norse culture, they burn a lot of pine material and also dragon blood, which is
Yeah.
another resin. Yeah, and just keep sniffing because I have like force from top on this hand and red Luciana, and I'm just turning into a living incense stick.
Yes.
It's like smelling incense in the evening. It's man, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love incense when I'm relaxing after a long day working. So
So my next one is one that is a little different. It is incensey, but it's also fruity, floral, very bright, and it's not, in my opinion, very smoky at all. JJ, the master of incense. So this is a definite, to my nose, this is definitely incense, and it is another Duchaffour creation. It's l'artisan parfumeur Sevilla Loeb. That it also smells like summer. You know, you have this floral. There's quite a noticeable jasmine note.
Yeah,
it's fruity, but it's also deep. It has an incense note, but it's not smoky. It's not heavy at all.
No,
it's quite bright. It's quite bright, and I mean, it's a perfect spring wear, in my opinion.
yeah,
Perfectly unisex, and I mean, it's great. You can. It's versatile if you like that kind of. It has some touches of a traditional Chypre. Probably the fruitiness. It's a little peachy, but not that much. Those ripe fruits. Yes.
The thing is that, like, I usually like this kind of style of artisan parfumeur. It's what we call, like, in Italian we use this word aquarello, which is like a water-based painting. So they have like this also. Sevilla is like this very light and also airy scent, but not like weak or like flat. It has colors, it has like flavor, a lot of flavor to it, but it's not heavy.
No,
you know,
no.
it is not a heavy fragrance by any means, which is
no,
good.
And don't be deceived by the name Seville Aloba. Seville in the south of Spain. Spain is also very famous for leather. This is not a leather fragrance by any means. This is really, it's bright, but it's not sparkling. It's doesn't have that aldehyde spark. It's not very projecting. It's, I will define it as a quiet scent. Very quiet,
like
very meditative.
A lot of
very
fragrances just like that, you know.
Yeah. But of course, when you add an incense note, it immediately calms down the fragrance, makes it more meditative.
Yeah, you know what I was expecting from you. Just that now you mentioned l'artisan parfumeur. I was expecting like an old Timbuktu.
Oh.
Which was my ever first artistic, or let's say niche fragrance. I was at high school, you know. I was at high school, and I was in my like Tom Ford, Hugo Boss, and all that kind of genre.
I like.
I had a couple of Tom Ford private blend as well. And I bought my first niche fragrance that I bought was Timbuktu, like the very, very old Timbuktu, like the first bottle. And Zing, Timbuktu, both Timbuktu and Zing.
No, I like actually like Timbuktu. I've gone through some samples, some decants of Timbuktu, but I never made up my mind about buying a full bottle, because I think I have a lot of fragrances that are in that kind of ballpark. But there's another one which is, by the way, heavier than Sevilla Loeb, which is Zonka, that I have a decant, and probably, speaking of smoky fragrances, that can be
Yeah.
and a future full bottle.
My Lord.
So,
So like I basically talking about like spray format fragrances. I have a couple of more, but they cannot be considered that much of a versatile incense fragrance. So like I just had like a few unicorns, sort of say,
yeah,
that I don't talk about because like I find frustrating for people to see something then they cannot buy anywhere because at the end people want to also hear something like they want to hear you talking about something then they can find them. But I'm just gonna pick one because it's really good.
yeah. Also, Sevilla Lobe has been
Yeah,
discontinued, but
yeah,
you
long
can
time.
still find it. You can still find it because it's a recent discontinuation.
Which is because I'm talking about attars now
Mm.
because like talking about incense, as I stated in the past, I'm big time into smoking, like fumigating with my Subitis meter. I have a lot of resin, but I also have a lot of incense in attar format. And this one, I just lost. It's unlabeled. It's from Elixir Attar, like the brand is Elixir Attar.
Yeah, I have heard about them.
Yeah. No, so like they're now based in Egypt. It was an American indie brand dealing mainly with naturals, but not only. And this attar, it's basically frankincense, just three materials: frankincense, elemi, and vanilla absolute, and that's it. So it's thick as hell, and it reminds me a lot of vanilla from l'artisan parfumeur,
Oh,
plus incense. So it's like not sweet, very woody, very very realistic, very photorealistic vanilla, like actual vanilla pod, plus elemi. So it has this heavy incense top note, and my lord.
well, if it's not sweetened up to death,
No.
vanilla can be good. Vanilla can be good, but you know, when you smell the actual vanilla pod, it's not really sweet.
No.
What we associate with the idea in vanilla is because vanilla is used in baking goods, like in cakes, pastries. So we associate the idea of vanilla with something sweet, and some perfumers usually
Yeah.
overwhelm it with buckets and buckets of ethyl maltol, and that's nasty, disgusting.
Yeah.
But the vanilla pod, it has a very aromatic, almost
Yeah, it
smoky
is smoky,
smell.
especially the bourbon one. It is smoky indeed, and very dark as well.
Yeah.
I was just smelling because I'm such a nerd. I was just smelling another attar, another instance one because I have tons of them. Like I could talk for ages about this stuff, but I didn't know it's whatever. Like this is a discontinued stuff, but man, it is good. Mm. I wanna. I'm curious. I wanna hear your opinion about the Grimoire by Antoine Breton.
Yes, but before Grimoire, I want to mention another one that I'm using a lot in these days, and to me it's one of the best versatile incenses. It's an Italian brand, an Italianish brand called Morph, and
Yeah.
the fragrance is Nudo.
Yeah, I know it.
This is a modern, very modern take on incense. It has the frankincense note, which is very noticeable, but it's brightened up by this very creative use of the coca plant, which is the plant from which you then extract cocaine, and which gives it a bright, uplifting green character in the beginning, and then the use of Kashmirian, which gives this warm, synthetic, very modern wood base, which, in my opinion, is the downside of this fragrance, because I think the use of coca is very creative, very unique. The frankincense note is done really well. Then you have this synthetic Kashmirian warm, woody base that to me a little spoils the experience, but it's a good fragrance. I like it a lot. I'm using it a lot. Do you know that?
Yeah. I know the brand. Yeah, I know. I know Nudo, and in fact, it's I believe the only one from the brand that I can actually stand and smell, because like the other offering are like too modern for my likings.
Yeah.
And when I say modern, I mean like they tend to overdose like a very not modern in terms of discovery, but in terms of usage, modern materials. So you have like you're big into ethyl maltol fragrance, you're big into ambroxanide fragrance, you're big, and they tend to quite overdose stuff, synthetic stuff.
Yeah.
But
yes, I think I appreciate what I appreciate the most. The part that I actually like the fragrance, it's the fact that they try to modernize probably the oldest element in perfumery, which is incense. They try to modernize it to make it more suitable for the modern men and women, because of course it's a unisex fragrance. It's not the most creative way, but I appreciate this commitment, this attempt, and the fragrance is, in my opinion, it's quite good. I like it. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, and it's also like versatile due to the usage of modern molecules. It's quite versatile. I mean, you can easily get away with it wearing outside or even at work. Doesn't bother anyone.
No. And it's quite, it's pleasant. I mean, it's very pleasant, but you know, it's doesn't have that that bit of uniqueness, because when you use these modern materials, like in this case Kashmirian, in a heavy dose, it makes it more akin to a lot of other fragrances that are abusing these materials today. So you have this warm, smooth base that you have in tons of different fragrances, but this at least has that brightness from the coca and uniqueness from the coca plant, and there's the well done incense. Okay, now we are going to the big
grimoire.
To the big one.
Yeah.
And this was probably the first fragrance that made me think incense can be versatile, can be used all year round. Hi, Annie. Because, you know, I was used to the heavy amouage kind of resins.
Yeah, very resin, very smoky, very sweet as well.
Well, interlude is not that sweet,
Yeah,
by the way.
it's not.
Now, when I talk about the amouage I was using interlude, I was using memoir, I was using epic.
That's good. That's a really good one, memoir.
So grimoire. For Anatole Breton, I have always used the word impressionism applied to fragrances, because nobody, I think, like Anatole can, to my nose, make you imagine exactly a scene, a scenario.
Yeah.
This grimoire, I think I don't have to explain what a grimoire is. It's let's say it clean and simple. It's an old book.
Yeah.
And this is exactly, it portrays exactly what in my mind, I imagine an old library.
Yeah.
It has the woody tones. It has the dusty. It's not powder, it's dusty.
Yeah, and also like very musty,
Yeah,
meaning moldy, musty.
exactly. To me, that's the incense, the frankincense note that gives that mustiness, that dank kind of smell. But it also has this light citrus fruity opening that brightens it up, that lightens it up. That it's the first time I thought, okay, I found an incense for summer. Maybe not for the dog days of summer at noon, but you can easily use grimoire on a summer evening. This is very, very good. And
Yeah, it is
and
good.
the frankincense note is quite traditional, quite what you expect to be the Lebanon note.
Yeah.
It's very, very church.
You know what it does remind to me, but it's a very specific picture. And this is a big nerd thing, you know. Back in the days, I used to play a lot of video games. First on the console, then on the PC. And there's an action RPG game from Blizzard Entertainment called Diablo. There's Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and Diablo 3. And some of the levels are in these like church catacombs when there's like dust everywhere and demons and skeletons and stuff. And the first time that I smelled grimoire, I said, oh my God, I like this reminds me so much of like Diablo. I know it's funny, and not a lot of people can relate to this specific thing.
I don't know Diablo.
It's crazy good.
I'm not a big video game guy, but I can imagine. I've seen video games, but in my day during the 80s, that were kind of the same.
Conquer and stuff like that. Yeah. So like before I forgot to like. I was so focused on showing you like this continued attar that I forgot about an attar that is also in perfume format, which is currently available, and it is my to me the best Kodo incense representation. So what is Kodo? It's like the Japanese word. it's the art of fumigation of incense. There's no smoke. There's a lot of sandalwood, a lot of woody sandalwood, and a lot of spices. They mix the wood with spices to make it more fresh and more clean. They use cardamom, they use like fenugreek, they use anise, they use turmeric as well. And the fragrance, this is quite expensive because like I think in spray format, it is $150 for 15 ml. So it's crazy expensive. And I have on in Atar, and this is called Spirit of Japan. And it is again from Elixir Atar. And this is very wearable. It is like woody sandalwood with a lot of culinary spices, like a lot. There's a lot of fenugreek, there's a lot of turmeric, there's a lot of cardamom, and this block of wood and incense underneath pushing the spices. It is expensive. It is expensive, but man, I like before when you were talking, I was just dabbing some of the oil into my fingers and just put it on my mustache. So right now I'm smelling a lot of Spirit of Japan, and it is a ride. It is a ride.
You know, Atars are something I really have to explore because I don't think I have any. I only have.
One day we can meet up.
Yeah.
So I can make you like an oud atar sniffing session.
Yes, we are not very far, so.
Yeah, no, not that far.
Then I have a couple of honorable mentions. One that I don't think actually contains an incense note, but to me dies down to something very similar to a Nagchampa incense stick, which is Molinard musk.
This I don't know.
Yeah. It's a musky, quite floral fragrance. It's your classic clean musk, but the dry down, I don't know what kind of resins they are using, but it's very similar to a Nagchampa incense stick, which is the Indian Far East kind of incense, which I like quite a bit. And then one of more, I think, wearable, mass appealing, generic kind of fragrance. Not really generic, but very mass appealing, very made a niche offering that can be very wearable. It's Basilica by Milano Fragranze.
Yeah. Which also was a finalist, like last year or 2 years ago, I believe, for the Art Manufacturing Award.
It is not my favorite from this line, which is I mean a subsidiary line to Masque Milano. It is not my favorite, but as an incense, as a wearable incense, mass appealing kind of incense. All this line is niche but very wearable. I think they have made it to be more user friendly
than Masque.
Let's say than Masque. In fact, it's also noticeably cheaper. And I mean, my favorites are Diurno, Derby, and Piazza Fari.
Piazza Fari is my favorite.
Yeah. I have. I still don't have the bottle because in the brick and mortar store here, when they sell them, it's not already available. Though it's on the market for 1 year, and I will get it. sooner or later I have Diurno, I have Derby, which are pretty traditional fragrances with a unique twist, because Diurno traditional fougere, but with amaretto note,
Yeah.
which, and Derby traditional leathery chypre, but one of the few masculine fragrances, though they are all unisex, but to me Derby leans more masculine, but with a tuberose note. It's in a kind of supportive role more than, of course, being the star of the show. But it's nonetheless not so common to see a tuberose note in a masculine fragrance. Because to me, tuberose is the quintessential feminine note. It's like vetiver for the masculine, for the male perfumery. Tuberose is the equivalent of vetiver for.
Especially in vintage fragrances.
Yeah, and then they also share the fact that if you aren't careful in how much you put of tuberose or vetiver in the blend, they can overwhelm everything else. A drop more, you can call it vetiver something or tuberose something.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, this basilica is quite nice. It's not a very heavy incense. It's more. What I love about this is the herbal touch in the opening. Especially, there are a couple of green notes that I love, which are rosemary and thyme, and which I also always have plants in my garden because I really love the smell, apart from using them for cooking. And they are very noticeable, and they are a very nice counterbalance to the incense note. And then there's this warm milk accord that gives the smoothness, the warmth to the fragrance. It rounds it off.
Because I remember it being quite milky.
Yeah, it's very milky in the middle. Very, as they say, lactonic. I hate lactonic. The word itself. It literally, that milk accord could have been done with sandalwood, but even with this kind of synthetic accord, it's not bad. It's really nice.
It is a good one, yeah.
And do you have some other?
No, I run out of incense. Just unicorns, but it's gonna be boring as hell.
No, I have something more, but I don't think they are very, very versatile. They are quite heavy. For example,
I have like a very smoky fragrance, which smell like. You can relate to that because it's like an affettato we have in Italy, like a processed meat, which smells like speck. I'm not kidding. It exactly smells like speck, and it's crazy good. And I'm just gonna show you the juice. I'm not gonna talk about the fragrance because it's been discontinued for like 3 to 4 years. I'm just gonna show you the color of the juice. There's no color index. There's no color index. So this is the juice of the fragrance.
Well, don't spray it on a white shirt.
No. And you know, and the name, and EO is the brand. The name is Black. EO Black.
Oh. Okay.
Stop. Unicorn, stop. I'm done.
Yeah. I have a couple of honorable mentions which are not really traditional instances, but they have a resinous, smoky quality. This is more on the resinous side, is Van Ussendorf Classico Poponex.
Oh, yeah.
But this, more than an incense resinous fragrance, I think it leans more towards the classic Chypre fragrance. It's in the line of Mitsuko, Van der Rohe. It's great. It's very good. It adds this resinous quality to the Chypre frame, to the Chypre format. But I don't consider it an incense fragrance, but it's worth mentioned. And this is clearly smokier. This is, I don't know, it's the scent of Banat by Wesker.
Oh, yeah.
Wesker is a German brand,
Yeah, yeah,
which I came to know because they made this other one, Istria. Istria is my native land, so I was naturally drawn to it out of curiosity, and it's really great. But this scent of Banat is also very creative, very unusual kind of scent. I don't even know how to describe, because it has some elements of the Chypre, but it's not at all a traditional Chypre. It has resinous, it is fruity, it is floral, and to me, what stands out the most, it's that sort of dark, almost animalic, almost, as we were saying before, a dank, musty, moldy smell. This has something in the base that reminds me of another Oryza Legrand, Chypre Mousse. This got that wet soil kind of note, together with a hefty dose of castoreum, and
which is good.
Yeah, it is good, but
the latest releases from the brand, I just smelled their first 3 or 4, like, yeah, 4 fragrances, like the one that they launched, they made when the brand was launched.
Oh, Deviant, Imperial,
Gourmand,
Eau de Mystique.
yeah, Eau de Mystique there, which is their take on vanilla.
Yeah, the Imperial, Deviant, and Eau de Mystique. They are
those are all leaning gourmand, sweet Oriental stuff.
Yeah, they lean more feminine.
Yeah, I've never smelled this new one. I didn't know that they launched other fragrances, to be honest.
No, the scent of Banat is I think their last release, because they were at Texas. I haven't seen anything more than what I have in the Discovery set. By the way, shout out to them. Discovery set 5 ml vials with a cap. Very important. The cap is very important. And yes, this to me, what stands out are Istria, but that's a personal thing. And to me, the scent of Banat is very, very creative, very unique. very different, and it's bold, it's animalic, it's extremely earthy, and it's the kind of thing I want to wear because it's extremely challenging to wear.
Yeah, I have to check that one out because I didn't know that Bershka released new stuff. I was still.
Yes, they are. If when we meet, I will bring this discovery set, and then I have I can't speak a lot because I just received yesterday the discovery set Nomi Goodsir. I have tried three. What the shares is the incense one.
Yeah.
It smells pretty good. To my nose, it's not that far from Acqua di Gio Profumo in the dry down. Then I smelled Clear Velour.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of that one.
No. And my favorite, you can guess, Corpus Ecus.
Yeah.
This in the dry down goes quite similar to my beloved Anteus.
Yeah.
This is very good.
Yeah, but the brand itself is very solid.
Yeah, very solid. I think very. They are not extremely daring.
No.
But they are. I mean, for what I smelled so far, these three are very, very good, very wearable, not very challenging, not extremely creative, but I mean, that's nothing new. They bring nothing new to the table so far. But I have another couple to smell. But I mean, Boda shares seems very wearable, very pleasant, very versatile, nothing extremely.
No, not at all. It reminds me a bit of Asso from Profumum Roma, and also
I have that too, the sample.
yeah, and also like a nerfed or toned down version of Hyde from Iron Green plus the boozy note.
Mm. No, in that I don't get a lot because to me Hyde is in the ballpark, for example, of Boissicard by Atelier des Ors. They have that that heaviness, that depth. This is much lighter, airier. And one that is in that ballpark of Hyde and Boissicard, but it's a touch lighter. It's by Trudon. It's called Revolution. And I have a travel size. I'm buying a lot of travel sizes because I have no space anymore. When I can find a smaller bottle, I'll always go for that. But that's nice. It's a little lighter than those other two. It's not so sticky. In fact, it doesn't last 12 hours, but 6 to 8 hours. That's not.
I know that.
Do you know Revolution?
Yeah, they carry the brand here in my town. Mm. I also have a couple of candles.
Yeah. And I have another decant of their number 2, but I haven't. I just sprayed once. I think okay, it's good, but I have to roughly test it. But Revolution is good. Is not as heavy as those two you mentioned before, but It's dark,
Yeah,
smoky, definitely my thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't last that much on my skin, but I mean, 6 to 8 hours is
it's
more
okay.
than adequate.
Yeah, 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 it's okay.
Then you can always respray.
Always.
Yeah,
I think I have to leave because
yeah.
it's
I
11.
don't have anything else, so I think we can round it up here. And thank you, Simone, for having been my guest.
Yeah,
It's
and thanks for the invite.
it's always nice and a learning experience to talk with you.
Yeah,
It's
could say the same. And, you know, you see, I'm not that bad in English, you know.
no, you're quite good.
Yeah,
You're quite good.
yeah, it's okay.
Okay, let's round it up now, and I hope we will do something more in the future.
Yeah, or maybe even meet up.
Yeah, definitely before Florence. Otherwise, we hope to meet in Florence. I mean, I hope to go to Florence. We'll see.
I will be there for sure because I enjoy Florence way more than Milan, way more.
Yeah.
Even if it's smaller and there's less stuff to see and to smell,
Mm.
I enjoy a lot.
Yes, and probably even less people.
Yes, yes, exactly.
I made probably. I mean, I love these events. To me, the people is the highlight of these
Yeah,
events. They are made for meeting up with the guys you always see on YouTube, on
yeah,
Instagram, and you
yeah.
have only those chances to meet. But maybe in Milan, I went too much on the people and too little on the fragrances.
Yeah.
I want to probably in Florence with less people, I will be able to focus
More on the,
more on fragrances
yeah,
because I mean there have been a lot of talking among us after exams. And there have been so many fragrances that I think, why the hell haven't I smelled that?
yeah, yeah.
Like Boy Scuro, like one from Bougie Bougie.
Oh, that's a good brand.
Yeah, the Pep told me that Gilded was a great fragrance, and I haven't smelled that. And now I have to wait the release. And a lot of other things that unfortunately I couldn't smell Toba. I skipped them.
Yeah,
I skipped a lot of things because I was not losing time, because it was not I won't consider it a loss of time to spend time with the people. But in Florence I will focus more
yeah.
on the
The
fragrance.
thing is that the people that you know from social media, so like from let's say YouTube or Instagram or whatever, you can still find them
Yeah,
also in PT, probably, hopefully.
yeah,
There's
someone will come for
gonna be
sure.
less randoms.
Yeah. Yes, there will be probably no parties thrown by the brands.
No, there will be. There will
Oh,
be. Just
okay.
less.
Okay. Yes, and I won't spend so much time outside of the venue talking with people. I will talk with people, but
Inside.
inside and smelling fragrances.
Yeah. Which is always good.
Yeah. Well,
So thanks.
thank you, Simone, for joining. Thank you everybody for watching, and see you next time.
Yeah,
Bye,
definitely.
guys.
Bye and have a good night.
Night.
Ciao.